beginning in the 1980s and then in the 1920s, you have this extraordinary concentration of income building up, so that by 1928 and by 2007, the top 1% are taking up 23.5% of total national income, which means that there is not enough purchasing power left in the middle class to keep the economy going without going into debt. Right. Well, technically, if the economy hit bottom in June, that is, in terms of think of it as an economy that's contracting. If we contracted to the maximum contraction in June of '09, and we started to expand, we still have a long way to go before we're even back to where we were. Now, normally what happens in a recession is that initially, when the economy turns around, you get very rapid growth. It's easy because a lot of people are standing around doing nothing, a lot of factories are empty, a lot of offices are empty, all of the resources you need to put to work are already there. So, that initial spurt of growth is not really long-term growth. It's kind of short-term back to the old path of long-term growth. And then you have very fast growth once you absorb all of this spare capacity and spare machinery and spare people, or people who are unemployed, and then you go back to long-term 2.5% or 3% or whatever it is. The problem is we are not even getting out of the hole. The economy is actually, the growth is slowing. The second quarter annualized GDP growth was 1.6%. That's not enough to bring down unemployment. So technically you could say we're going in the right direction because we're expanding again. But if you look under the surface, the reality is there's no way at this rate we're going to reduce unemployment or actually get anywhere back to where we should be. But then there's a deeper analysis which says, wait a minute, we can't go back to where we were anyway, because where we were between 2001 2007 got us into the problem we are in now, and that was based on debt that was not possible to replicate. That was a false recovery. That was not a recovery. And then you go even deeper and you say even the 1990s was based in part on eventually low interest rates and also a dot-com bubble, and it was cyclical. It was not structural. The middle class was beginning to feel the effects in a big way of stagnant wages, and women were going to work. Everybody was working longer hours. That was not sustainable. So what I'm saying is that if you really rip away all the layers of the onion, you see that there is a long-term problem that can no longer be avoided.